What is going on, you guys? My name is Josh Frink, your favorite professional Pokemon TCG player, and today we are here to talk about the Lost Box deck that got second place at the Louisville Regional just this past weekend. And this is a special one for me. Michael Davidson is a local of mine. He is a great kid. Just this past year was his first season in Masters, and it's so cool to see him seeing so much success. So of course, this is going to be the first deck that we are covering from Louisville. This was an insane meta call. As some of you may know, I did a tier list video just, right before the Louisville Regional Championships, and Lost Box wasn't even on the list because it's such a niche play, I would say, at this point in time. You have Regidrago with that Kyurem that can cause a whole slew of problems for Lost Box, and I think Michael did dodge all of them, but it was also pretty far down, I would say, in terms of play rate. So making an insane meta read for the weekend and taking it all the way to the finals. There was some unfortunate luck in the finals there. If you haven't watched it, go over and do that. I'm gonna link to Michael's Twitter down below, as well as his coaching. He's an excellent player, so if you don't follow him already, you should certainly do so. But yeah, let's get into the list. Those of you unfamiliar with Lost Box may not know what Comfey does, but for the rest of us, this thing has been a pain in the side for years at this point. Comfey does not look very threatening, but when you look a little bit deeper, you'll see that it's quite a strong card, right? Comfey has the flower selecting ability, which lets you look at the top two cards of your deck. You put one into the Lost Zone, you put one into your hand, which doesn't seem that great. It's basically trekking shoes, except instead of a card going to the discard, it goes to the Lost Zone. But then when you look at the rest of the Lost Zone engine, you will see just how powerful of a card this is. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is Sableye. This Pokemon has the Lost Mine attack, which says if you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you can put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. This card is broken. It is one of the most in a vacuum ridiculous cards that has ever been printed, in my opinion. This card was a gatekeeper for years and years and years. Those of you who are familiar with the Lost Box archetype know just how powerful Sableye is, and I'm sure in our games today we're going to go over that. The next attacker is Cramorant. This is more of an early game attacker. Lost Provisions. If you have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you can ignore the attack cost of Spit Innocently. So on your first turn, you can swing for 110 for free. Cramorant's a great early game attacker. It sets up for lots of math for you in other situations. It's just very, very strong. Radiant Greninja is going to be part of our draw engine. You have concealed cards where you discard an energy and you get to draw 2. But Lost Box is one of those decks that can utilize the Moonlight Shuriken attack. One of the most broken cards to ever exist, this Radiant Greninja. Talk about gatekeeping. Radiant Greninja is right at the top of the list for this format. Discard 2 energy cards from this Pokemon and you do 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. And especially in like stage 2 heavy environments, right? This card is very, very strong. We don't necessarily have a stage 2 heavy environment right now, but we have lots of Pokemon under 90 HP that do not appreciate a Moonlight Shuriken from Radiant Greninja. So this is one of our primary attackers in the deck. Then we've got our big 2 prizers. We've got Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX with that seasoned skill ability, meaning when our opponents take prizes, it reduces our attack cost for each one that they have taken. So if our opponent's at 1 prize, we can use that Bloodmoon attack for free. Each prize they add adds an energy to the attack, or the inverse of that if you prefer it that way as well. Then we've got Iron Hands EX. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this card as well. An absolute menace, allowing you to take multiple prize cards in one turn. It's got Arm Press, which you can use, right? We've got 2 lightning energy in the list, so you can use Arm Press for 160. That's going to be able to one-shot big water and normal type Pokemon that have lightning weaknesses like Palkia and Pidgeot. That's going to be kind of your primary way to deal with those. But then amp you very much. As we all know, if your opponent is knocked out by damage from this attack, you get to take an extra prize card. So in a format with a lot of low HP Pokemon, being able to take an extra prize card with Iron Hands is crazy. You have the opportunity to set up for big extra prize knockouts with Cram and with Sableye as well. This card is just ridiculous, and it's one of the best cards in the game, so why not put it in a deck where you can use multiple energy types to accelerate to different attackers? We then have Spiritomb. Now, some of you might be surprised to see Spiritomb in the list right now, but Spiritomb, I think, is one of the best cards in the current format. It shuts off so many of the support Pokemon that exist right now, and even some of the attackers in various archetypes as well. Spiritomb's Fettered in Misfortune says basic V Pokemon in play have no abilities. That shuts off Rotom. It shuts off Lumineon, which are the two most important ones, I would say, in general. But it also shuts off things like Weirdeer V. That ability is also shut off by Spiritomb, so it has a lot of value in a lot of different places. It's going to be really good into stall and control matchups to shut off that Rotom. Even things like Charizard and Dragapult that really revolve around that extra setup, and Lugia obviously as well. Those things that really rely on the Lumineon, on the Rotom to give themselves a lot of cards. So moving on to the supporters, we got 4 Colress's Experiment. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put 3 of them into your hand, then you put the other cards in the Lost Zone. That's kind of the way that you're going to turbo stuff into the Lost Zone in this deck. It's also one of your best draw resources. You're going to thin your deck very quickly. With Colress and Pokestop, you go through your deck very, very fast. We have 1 copy of Boss Orders, nothing crazy here. And then we have 1 copy of Roxanne. Roxanne has always been very, very good in Lost Box archetypes. You tend to be behind in a lot of matchups, not always, but a lot of times your opponent needs a lot to respond to some of your late game stuff. And so if you can Roxanne them, give them fewer resources in order to deal with things, it's just a very, very strong card. 4 copies of Mirage Gate. Now, this is the thing that really makes Lost Box tick. You can use this card only if you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. That is how we are activating our various attackers here with the Iron Hands and the Radiant Greninja and the Sableye. Sorry about that. So you can get all of that energy in play as early as turn 1 if you're going second, utilizing multiple Comfeys, Colress, and Lost Vacuum to get cards into that Lost Zone. Mirage Gate is going to activate all of the attackers very, very quickly. We have 4 copies of Nest Ball, 4 copies of Buddy Poffin. Those are going to be our Pokemon search for the deck. We have 4 copies of Switch Cart. It's a switch. You need lots of switch for Comfey because in order to use flower selecting, your Comfey has to be in the active. So we want multiple copies of Switch. Switch Cart is specifically good because it does also heal 30 damage from the Pokemon that you move, which can be very valuable in quite a few different matchups. 4 copies of Switch. 4 copies of Super Rod. This is a deck where we are constantly throwing away resources into the discard pile. More specifically, our energy is going to the discard pile quite a lot. So the more Super Rods that we have, especially for our multiple one-of Pokemon as well, right? More copies of Super Rod we have, the more we're going to be able to do whatever we want to on any given turn. Play 2 copies of Lost Vacuum. There are a lot of stadiums and tools that are relevant to vacuum away in this format, but in Lost Box decks, more often than not, you're using Lost Vacuum as a way to accelerate your own engine. You can use Lost Vacuum to remove your own Pokestop, to remove your own Rescue Board, and that will put 2 cards into the Lost Zone for you, so it makes it even easier to get to that to the number thresholds earlier in the game, right? You only need Colress plus Vacuum or double Comfey plus Vacuum in order to attack with Cram. If you can go Colress, triple Comfey, and Vacuum, that puts you at 7, and that's going to get you to that Radiant Greninja, to the Iron Hands, those attackers that you want the Mirage Gates for. We play 1 copy of Heavy Ball. Obviously, we only play 1 of all of our Pokemon except for Comfey, so you need the Heavy Ball in the games where you're unable to access those Pokemon at the start because they're in the prizes. We also play 1 copy of Night Stretcher, functionally similar to Super Rod, except it's 1 instead of 3, and it goes straight to your hand. So if you're looking to use Sableye exactly, or you're looking to use Cramorant exactly, or you just need an energy to draw with Radiant Greninja, or you need one to attach for turn, Night Stretcher is a very, very strong 1-for-1 exchange in that respect. We're playing 1 copy of Pokégear. Basically, Pokégear is just an extra out to Colress. It's also gettable off of Pokestop. So it's very powerful. There's really not a reason not to play a Pokégear in this deck. It helps with your consistency quite a lot. So very, very solid in here. We play a copy of Pal Pad as well so that you can shuffle back in your Colresses mostly, but sometimes you'll shuffle in Boss and Roxanne too. We played Prime Catcher. Prime Catcher is awesome in this deck. typically speaking, decks that want Prime Catcher are mostly using it because it's Item Gust. Lost Box is one of those decks that can really utilize both aspects of Prime Catcher, really taking advantage of both the gusting aspect as well as the switch, right? Because you can utilize it to get an extra Comfey, as well as to use that gust effect. Play 1 copy of Rescue Board, another switching effect for the Comfey. It's only got 1 retreat, so Rescue Board is going to make it so that you can retreat that Comfey for free, get an extra flower selecting each turn without having to utilize a switch. We play 4 copies of Pokestop. This is a turbo deck, and a turbo deck that we can kind of get back our resources should we need them. If we hit items, they go to our hand, but if we hit Pokemon or we hit energy, we can always super rod them back in. If we hit supporters, we can always Pal Pad them back in. So you really get the opportunity to turbo so fast through your deck, find so many resources. It's just really incredibly strong. And then for the item counts, we're playing 3 water, 3 psychic, and 2 lightning. Most often, we're only going to be using 1 lightning on hand, so we have 1 extra one to cover for prizing, and we play 2 as well to activate the use of arm press. We have 3 water energies, again, 2 water energy requirement for the Radiant Greninja, and then we have 3 psychic energies, and we're playing that because Sableye is just like one of the most ridiculous attackers, so we want the extra energy there. I am very excited to play some Lost Box. I haven't played any since NAIC this year when Andrew Hedrick took down that tournament, so I'm really looking forward to these games, so let's get right into it. Getting into it here, I do believe that we are supposed to be choosing blind first in this meta. I can't imagine a world where we wouldn't be choosing blind first realistically. I assume that you want to go second into rushdown decks like Bolt, maybe like Miraidon and Turbo Moon as well, but typically speaking, it feels like a format that we really want to go first so that we can try and utilize that Radiant Greninja as quickly and as efficiently as possible. It does look like we are against Toedscruel EX, which will certainly be an interesting matchup. I have no idea how this goes typically. It does stop the effect of Lost Mine, which isn't great. It's not exactly something that we're thrilled to see here, but we'll see if we can make it work. Hopefully we can just Radiant Greninja and knock out all of their Toedscruels very quickly here. We've got quite a solid hand. We are going first, so we're not going to be able to immediately utilize that Colress's experiment. But we are going to be at least able to use a Comfey on the first turn. We'll be able to Pokestop as well. I'm going to go ahead and check my prizes with that Heavy Ball. We have lots of water energy prize, so we're not going to be able to utilize that Radiant Greninja. That is off the table already. So we are going to acknowledge that, and then we're going to go ahead and use Pokestop. Want to use the random draw before we go ahead and use the Comfey. Did it happen again? No, okay, Rescue Board. Okay, that's not an item card anymore. Okay. I was gonna say, twice in a row on videos is pretty crazy. We're gonna go ahead and grab Radiant Greninja. I do think that it is one of our primary ways to draw cards here. Typically speaking, if you're looking to draw Pokemon, you don't want to utilize the Nest Ball first, but I don't really think I'm looking to draw into Pokemon off of Comfey here. We've kind of got everything I want. I'm going to go ahead and keep the Colress. I don't necessarily need a second Comfey this turn. Just going to go ahead and switch into that second Comfey. We'll get up to 2 in the Lost Zone here. I do think I want to keep the Buddy-Buddy Poffin though, so I can go ahead and utilize multiple Comfeys on the following turn if possible. Is the switch more valuable though? I don't think so. I do think we go ahead and grab the Buddy Poffin. I think we can grab at least 1 more Comfey. We're not attacking with Radiant Greninja, so we want to save at least a bench spot for something like the Sableye or the Iron Hands. But this isn't a deck that can really punish us for having extra Comfey, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and send it. And then, yeah, that's all we can do for the turn, so we'll go ahead and pass over to them. It's a pretty solid first turn. We get 2 in the Lost Zone. It's unfortunate that we have so many water energy prize, but it shouldn't be a huge deal. There's a Hoot. Okay. It's really unfortunate that we won't be able to Greninja, because if we can knock out a lot of these Hoots, it's definitely worthwhile to do so. But maybe we'll be able to take a couple of prizes on the Toedscruel. Okay, it looks like they're bumping the Pokestop using that Area 0 under depths. Going to be able to add quite a few bench spaces for themselves here. I feel like this matchup has to be pretty tough. Shutting off Sableye seems bad for us. But they do need to get into a Toedscruel EX in order to accomplish that. So We'll see if they're even able to do it. They do Iono us, putting 2 Colress onto the bottom. It's a bit of a shame. We still have 2 in the deck. We don't have any prized, so yeah, we do get another one. And our hand's not terrible here. We're probably going to be able to pull off something this turn. We do only have 2, so we would need quite a lot to get to Sableye this turn. Colress, all 4 of our Comfeys, as well as that Lost Vacuum, but it's certainly not impossible. We're going to need to find quite a bit, though. Can I still use this if I'm asleep? Okay, it doesn't matter. Alright, so we don't have Pokestop here, which means we're likely to start with the Colress's Experiment. I do think we're just going to go ahead and do that. Do I want to shuffle my deck? If I want to shuffle my deck, I think I'm supposed to Pokégear first, but let's see what I put down. I don't think so. We're not really looking for any of that stuff. We're going to go ahead and use Colress here. There's a Prime Catcher. I'd say the Buddy Poffins are probably fine to go. We don't really need those at this point. We do get the Cramorant, so worst case scenario, we can go ahead and utilize that Cram to take a single knockout here. It's not exactly ideal. I do think we keep the Pokestop over the Switch. We're not thrilled about that. But I am okay with it. We're going to be able to bump their area 0. We can utilize the Pokestop here. Night Stretcher Pal Pad. We do get an energy into the discard pile, which is okay. Go ahead and use Switch. Flower selecting. We get another Switch. So all we need now is a way to get Sableye, and we should have the KO on double Toedscruel, which is pretty good because we can go Switch, and then Prime Catcher it up into the active. So we really just need to find a Nest Ball. Have I shuffled my deck yet? No, right? I don't believe so. So maybe it's worth it to shuffle my deck. I did put the Sableye on the bottom. So if I go ahead and Pokégear, I know I'm going to fail it because those Colresses are on the bottom. But I think it's worth it to shuffle here. We'll go ahead and use that gear. Flower select. Let's see if we can get lucky. Take the Mirage Gate. The Spiritomb's not super useful here. Go into Comfey again. Come on, let's see it. Not quite. So we are going to get... Getting rid of Super Rod doesn't feel great. We did already have to get rid of one so far, but this does give us another chance to get the Sableye, so we'll be able to utilize that Radiant Greninja. I think I'm going to go for it. I'm not sure that that's 100% correct, but I'm going to go for it here. We can go ahead and use the concealed cards. No, not quite. And we did put this Pokestop in play this turn, so we're not going to be able to do that. We also don't get Iron Hands, which is a bit tough. We really would have liked to have seen some way to get a good attacker off. But there's no reason to use the Vacuum now. We're just going to go ahead and switch into the Cram, and we will spit innocently for a knockout on Toedscruel. Realistically, they're going to be able to attack with a Toedscruel EX here. It's not exactly what we want to see. Hopefully, we get an energy. We do get a Super Rod, so we'll still have 2 to utilize throughout the game. It doesn't feel awesome, though. Realistically speaking... Yeah, realistically speaking, we're not looking fantastic here, I would say. We do have our boss prize as well. There's another Ogre Pawn. Using the Noctowl makes sense. Probably going to go ahead and grab out a Toedscruel EX here. As long as they don't put a Grass Energy on this, I can still Sableye it. I can get myself back on even prizes. And then I could use, for example, like Iron Hands to take 2 prizes here, which is pretty solid. So we're not in a terrible spot by any means, especially because we're forcing them through a 1 prizer, right? The one downside to this is that we're going to need to utilize this Super Rod pretty badly. We are also quite low on Switch cards. I did go pretty aggressive to try and accomplish our goal that turn. We do only have 1 Switch left, so that doesn't feel great. We've got the Prime Catcher as well. But yeah, we're really low on Switch. I think I might have been a little too aggressive. It's possible that I should have just gone for Cramorant, but I was kind of assuming that I was just going to win the game if I hit Sableye. I did miss sequence a little bit. I think if that was the goal, as soon as I Colressed, once I had enough Switch cards, in order to, yeah, here. That's where I should have done it. Oh, is that where I did it? Oh, that is where I did it. Okay. Yeah, as soon as I had enough Switch cards in order to pull off the play, I needed to shuffle my deck. I thought I did it a turn late, but maybe not. Okay, what did they grab off Noctowl? Iono and... Okay, makes sense. Gonna go for the Iono, putting all of our hard-earned cards to the bottom of the deck. There's the Sableye, of course. A little bit late there, buddy, but that is a-okay. We'll see if we can still pull something off here. Like I said, we have the ability to do something like hit this for 100, and then, I mean, we can't really set these other things up because they're protected by Mycelium. But if we can go, you know, KO, and then 2 prize KO, and then we find our boss, we could, like, Ursaluna to finish off the Teal Mask Ogerpon there, which is quite good. So as long as we're able to pull that off, it should be okay. We're going to need quite a lot to go right for us in order to pull everything that we need to off, but so long as we're able to do it, we should feel pretty alright. Unfortunately, we also can't hit these Ogerpons with our Radiant Greninja, so it's just going to be a draw engine for the time being, which is fine. Not a huge deal by any means. There's the Iron Hands, so I could go for an Iron Hands play here. I do think it's safer to just knock out one of these Noctowls. So let's go ahead. We'll use our Pokestop first. There's the Lost Vacuum. We do discard Ursaluna, which is a bit annoying. I think I'm going to go ahead and Concealed Cards the Lightning here. Okay, there's our Colress. So yeah, I think we are just going to Sableye. I really don't want to have to Mirage Gate in order to do it. It's not like the worst thing ever, but it's not ideal either. Okay, we don't need the Nest Ball. Keep the Colress. We can go ahead and use Colress. There's Switch Cart, Prime Catcher, not Prime Catcher, Mirage Gate Pal Pad. It's pretty good. We do get the Switch Cart, so we're gonna, at least for this turn, we're gonna be able to not use the Mirage Gate, which is nice. So we'll go ahead and Switch Cart into Sableye. I think it's probably correct for me to go for Pal Pad here to get the extra Colress. Will I ever need to boss? Probably not, right? So I think I can just go ahead and Lost Mine, KO one of these Noctowls. And we'll put the other 20 on Noctowl because we can't put it on anything else. We didn't take the boss there. It's a little tough. We really need to hit boss off of our next one, I think. That's kind of the place that we're most concerned with is, can we hit the boss off of the next one? I acknowledged out loud that I should Pal Pad, but I didn't do it. So if I get punished for that, that's on me. I knew I should Pal Pad. We do have 2 Colress. There's the Iono. So it looks like we might get punished. It looks like it a little bit, but we'll see. There is the Colress's Experiment. They do Glass Trumpet. Okay, so we can no longer Sableye to knock this out. We do have to go through it with the Iron Hands. Technically speaking, I could like cram this and then knock it out. That's a fine play too. I think ideally we would like to go for the Prime Catcher Hands play here. I think that's probably the best use of our time. So we'll go ahead and Pokestop. I don't know if we're guaranteed. Are we guaranteed Prime Catcher off of this? 9 cards. Yeah, we are. Okay. So we'll go ahead and Pokestop. There's Prime Catcher Super Rod. Okay, so we just need Iron Hands to be here-ish, right? Because we can Super Rod all the energy back in. We'll be able to utilize that. So we'll go ahead and Colress. What is in my deck? I know exactly what's in my deck. Is there a combination of cards that really, really screws me if I do this? This is fine to get rid of. This is fine to get rid of. This is fine to get rid of. Even Colress is fine to get rid of. So I think I can do this. It's not great. It's not great. I think this is correct. we'll go ahead and utilize flower selecting. There's the hands. So we're okay there. We can go ahead and bench the hands. We can Super Rod, grab Lightning, Psychic Water. I mean, it's all going on hands. I believe one of the last 2 cards in my deck is a Lightning Energy as well. So we'll go ahead and shuffle these bad boys back in. And then we can Mirage Gate. I'm thinking now that it's better to just KO the Toedscruel as opposed to the Noctowl, because the Noctowl is stuck this way, but they can evolve this into Toedscruel. So I think it is better for us to go ahead and KO the Toedscruel there. Hope we find the boss. If not, we'll have to adapt our plan a little bit. I don't think we're necessarily in trouble yet if we don't get the boss, but it's certainly not going to feel good. We would definitely like to see the boss here off of the prizes. So let's go ahead and Prime Catcher. We will bring up the Toedscruel. We will push up the Iron Hands, and then we will amp for 2. We have a 50-50 shot to hit the boss's orders. If we're able to do it, it's going to be pretty solid here, because then we can simply finish the game with that Bloodmoon Ursaluna. We do get the boss, so we can utilize Bloodmoon Ursaluna plus that boss's orders to be able to finish the game, which is pretty solid, I would say. So they're at 80, 120, 160, 200, 240. They're already knocking us out. There's nothing we can really do about that. They could Briar, I guess, and go for 3 prizes, but that just kind of helps us. It means that we can use the Ogre Pawn for free. That doesn't really do anything. Not really sure the purpose there. So yeah, they're going to Quality Rush. We've got everything we need in our hand. They're going to go down to 2 prizes. So all we need to do is Super Rod and Energy back in. We can Night Stretcher for the Ursaluna, Mirage Gate, and we'll be able to take the game. So we're going to go ahead and play this correctly. We're going to Night Stretcher. We are going to grab Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Put Ursaluna there. We will Super Rod for some energy. Doesn't necessarily matter which ones. And then we can Mirage Gate to the active to retreat. And 1 to the bench so that we can attack. We will go ahead and retreat into the Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Boss's orders an Ogre Pawn. And we'll be able to take the game. So a little bit of a weird matchup here for the beginning, but I actually think it's quite interesting to note this matchup specifically because that Protected Mycelium does shut off effects of attack, which is very important, right, for Lost Box. Sableye is a pretty big part of the deck, and so being able to navigate around something like that is one of the really inherent strengths of Lost Box. You kind of have answers to everything, which is kind of what makes this deck so cool. Except Regidrago, that one's a little bit tough. Hopefully, we don't have to showcase any of those matchups tonight, though. Let's just go into the next one. All right, getting into the next one here. This is a beautiful coin. I really like that Dragonite coin. I don't think I've seen that before. It does look like our opponent's going to go ahead and win the coin flip, meaning that they will likely be able to go first here. Most decks of the format are choosing blind first. I'd be surprised. Yeah, exactly. There it is. Blind first. Let's see if we can punish this, though. Lost Box is a deck that can fairly easily attack on the first turn going second. And this is a pretty solid hand to do so. There's the Regidrago. This is not what we want to see. Regidrago is by far and away our worst matchup. The Kyurem is a massive problem. Okay, we like to see that. They do just attach an energy and pass. It doesn't necessarily mean too much. I do have enough Nest Balls that I think I can grab all of the things that I would necessarily want here. I can grab Ninja, and then I can utilize the second Nest Ball for another Comfey. I do think I'm going to conceal cards first, though, and see what I can get. We do get another Nest Ball. That's really interesting. Like I said, I don't necessarily want to draw into Pokemon here. We did prize Hands and Cramorant. We don't love to see that. It looks like we prized a Psychic Energy as well. No, the Psychic's in our hand. Okay. Gate, Colress. Alright, well, let's start selecting some flowers and see if we can do anything crazy. We don't really need the Buddy Poffin. We've already got a wide selection of Comfeys here. So we're going to go ahead and flower selecting. If we can get to 7 here, we could theoretically attack with Bloodmoon Ursaluna and just donk them. It feels like a good enough reason to save the Nest Ball. We would need 5 energy, though, in order to pull that off. I mean, we're close. We're close. We need Colress Vacuum double gate? Or just a switch? There's the switch. I mean, we need Colress and then we need Vacuum Gate. Do I thin it out? I think I do. I think I grabbed the Ursaluna. And we'll gear. No! Punished. Punished. We didn't use Colress, so we're not at risk of Kyurem yet. But we're not feeling good. I would say that we're not feeling good. So we're gonna go ahead and pass. Do I attach? It's a really good question, actually. I think I do attach to the active. Just to have the option to retreat next turn, potentially. I don't necessarily anticipate that they will be able to do too much this turn. Generally speaking, Regidrago needs some kind of setup on the first turn in order to do a lot. But we'll see what they're able to do. I really only need, it's like Fire Energy E-Switch, which is not that much to get. They need a Drago VSTAR 2. They probably want another Pokemon in here as well. They do choose to commit the Grass Energy to the Drago, though. So once again, we're going to have the opportunity to maybe try and knock out their only Regidrago on the following turn. This is kind of one of our best ways to potentially win this matchup. They do Pokestop away 3 Pokemon, and none of them are ones that you necessarily want to get into that discard pile. They're going to boss the Ursaluna. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. There's the Pokestop going away. It's not what we want to see, but it's fine. It looks like they have a lot of stuff to just do. I wonder if they're going to Celestial Roar. No, it looks like they pass. I think that's probably the correct choice for them here. I'm going to go ahead and utilize the concealed cards first and see what we get. There's a Rescue Board. It's not super helpful immediately, especially because of the Jamming Tower in play. So it's kind of looking like we're just going to pass back and forth here for a little bit, which isn't fantastic. We can go ahead and retreat into another Comfey, see what we can get there. Love to see a Colress, not quite. I'm gonna grab the Super Rod over the Water Energy here, I think. I don't want to use Prime Catcher. I don't think it's worth it. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and pass. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel great, but I don't think we really have much of another choice here. Let's see what they can do. There's an Iono. Gonna go ahead and shuffle my hand and put it at the bottom of the deck. It's not exactly what we want to see once again, but there's a Colress at the very least. So let's see. If I utilize the Colress at this point, though, I'm giving them the opportunity to Kyurem for free, which I really don't want to do. There's a Fire Energy and a Grass Energy. They got another Ogerpon. Makes sense. I assume they're going to Teal Dance first. Yep, that tracks. I would guess that they're looking for Regidrago VSTAR. I'd be surprised if they're looking for anything else, but they can also just Dragon Laser us and take a knockout that way. It would accelerate our Bloodmoon Ursaluna a little bit, which is not bad necessarily. We do have a Gate in hand. Not too much else. They're going to put damage on the Ursaluna, which is fine. And they're going to draw a prize. I think it probably is correct for us to just let them get the Kyurem. That's how it feels anyway. I've got 2 Mirage Gates at the bottom of my deck. Is that right, or is it just 1? It is just 1. It is just 1. So I think we do go ahead and Colress here. No Gate. Boss. We'll go here. Need 1 more Mirage Gate. Flower selecting. I don't love getting rid of Super Rod, but I need a Mirage Gate. So I think I have to do this. No Mirage Gates. It's not awesome. We can Heavy Ball. We can grab Cram. We can grab Iron Hands. I do think Cram is maybe a little bit more useful inherently. Not that either is, like, great. We can go ahead and Flower Select one more time. Yeah, nothing. Like, really nothing. This is so rough. I mean, what can I even do here? I can't attack. Not with this anyway, which is the only thing I really want to attack with. Am I actually just going to cram this thing for 110? Oof. I had so many outs. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Is it even worth it to attack? Yeah, it is. Because if they evolve, then I'm definitely going to want the damage. I don't want to waste Switch Cart. We'll just switch into Cram. We'll hit for 110. Sometimes them's the breaks. We got 4 energy in here. We've got 1 energy in there. So we got 3 in the deck. In theory, I don't actually know what my prizes were. And Heavy Ball doesn't tell me. I should have looked. But we'll see what they do. Rip the Pokestop. That's a very solid few cards for them to have gotten. There's not a ton that we can do to fix that. They're going to be able to KO Cram. And I mean, even just getting a second Regidrago V down this turn is enough. And they got the Nest Ball, so they're certainly going to be able to do it. I don't know. I think we would have needed things to go a little bit better for us here in order to win. I think we would have needed something a little bit better. There's a Research going away. They're going to grab probably a couple Grass Energy to just draw a little bit more with the Teal Dance. I did play Colress, hoping that I would find a single copy of Gates. So if they want to Kyurem, they can Kyurem and take 3 prizes. There's nothing I can do to stop it. My Roxanne is in my Lost Zone, so if they go for it, they are certainly winning this game. I think it's going to be very, very hard for me to navigate the game from here on out. Like I said, they can Nest Ball for another Regidrago V here. 1 is in the discard, I guess, so it's possible that their 3rd copy of Drago is in the prizes. That would be good. Let's see. They go for the Nest Ball. It has to be Regidrago V. If they have a Regidrago V in deck, that's what they have to get. There's really no other option. I wonder if there's the Kyurem. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad. There's the Prime Catcher, bringing up Ursaluna. Oof. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. They're going to be able to use Trifrost. Take 3 prizes if they want. They don't even have to, though. Like, they could just hit this if they really want to. It's not a terrible play. There's the Iono. Don't love to see that either. Our boss going to the bottom of the deck. Boss would be pretty helpful here. I'm probably going to knock this out if I can. Which, I mean, I can. I can just go Sableye knockout. But then I have to Sableye, which it's not necessarily the best. It is in my deck. There it is. I should have a Psychic in there too. So I can go like Gate. I need another card in the Lost Zone. It's fine. I've Lost Vacuum. Oh, that's not great. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever either, I guess. We just vacuum the Pokestop. I don't want to use it. I don't think I want to use it. And I'm just going to switch card into Sableye. And they've got lots of energy. They can just Trifrost again next turn. It's not great. We'll go ahead and Greninja. There's no point in Pal Padding, so I'm just going to Lost Mine. We will do some damage here. 20. Sure. So they can continue to Trifrost. That's the issue. Is like I have to KO. I mean, I guess I can hands this, but I have to KO it next turn. And I think my hands is in my prizes, right? So I would have needed to take it there. Because now they can just do 110, 110, 110. They only need 2 prizes, so they can just kill the Rad Ninja. So if they bench a Drago V here, there's like actually nothing I can do about this. Oof. It does not feel good. It does not feel good. If we had Roxanne, maybe we'd be in an okay spot. Maybe we could stall him out for like a turn. But it's not looking so great. It's not looking so great. I think y'all are kind of seeing the reason here why Regidrago is not such a good matchup. I'm sure there were things I could have done to play this differently. Maybe it was a bit over aggressive for me to go so hard towards the Ursaluna. It's very possible that I wasn't supposed to do that and just not Colress to prevent this play. But I feel like if I just knock out their lone Regidrago there, I'm in a really good spot no matter what. So it felt worth it at the time. They are going to go ahead and utilize most of the energy. That is not all of their grass, but there's only 1 left. So depending on what recovery they have, they've already used a Superior and a Super Rod. So if they don't have a lot of recovery left, we could maybe get away with this. There's the Fire Energy onto the Kyurem. Like I said, I am going to have to KO this. And then they can just knock me out, right? 120? No, they would need an extra energy. But they can go Teal Dance. So if it's 30, 120, 150, 180. So if I go... No, but they don't have enough energy. They could E-switch. They have all of their E-switches left. If I heal 80, 180, no, it's not enough. It's not enough. It doesn't actually help. It makes it 1 more energy for them, basically. So I'm gonna go Pokestop, see if I can get a switch. No switch. Would another Switch Cart help me? If I could get... If I can get Switch Cart, Switch Cart, Switch, that will buy me a turn. But I need to get it. So we will concealed cards. Switch Cart, Switch Cart. No, it's Prime Catcher. I don't want Prime Catcher. I want... That's tough. Because I can go Switch Cart, Retreat, Switch Cart, Prime. It doesn't do enough. It doesn't do enough. Could I go Gate? What could I do? What could I do? I really needed hands to be an option here. But I would have lost anyway, I think, if I did that. So we'll go Switch Cart. We'll go Switch Cart, and just take the knockout. I don't think I have a better choice. We'll just do this. It hurts. It hurts a lot, but unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You can't win them all. There's the Iron Hands, just add insult to injury. But if we had 4 energy on our Iron Hands, this Ogerpon was going to knock us out anyway. So the unfortunate truth there is I think we were probably in trouble regardless. Let's see. Do they know that they have the win? I mean, they don't necessarily have it, right? They do need an E-switch. They need 2 E-switches, really. If they don't have the other grass, they need to go E-switch, E-switch. There's the Night Stretcher. They're going to grab Kyurem. Yep, there it is. They're going to be able to Kyurem. KOR Radiant Greninja. Nothing to be done. It hurts, but what can you do? Sometimes you just lose to a single copy of a card. Let me know down below. I mean, I don't necessarily know exactly how I'm supposed to play this matchup, so let me know if there's something that you noticed that I could have done differently throughout this game. Obviously, I could have tempoed a little bit differently. I could have chosen not to utilize that Colress's experiment to try and go for the KO on the Regidrago, but I felt like I was pretty likely to hit, so not so sure. But let's see if we can close out with a win. All right, let's get into this final game. Let's see if we can win a coin flip here. We would love to choose first if possible. I mean, you're going to hear me say that on a lot of videos for a while, I have the feeling. This is definitely a deck that wants to be able to go first, but so are pretty much every other deck in the format. It looks like our opponent did win the coin flip, and of course, we'll choose to go first. Not necessarily the end of the world. Lost Box is a deck that can kind of manage from either side. Our hand is okay. Leaves a bit to be desired here. We don't have any energy. We do have a Colress, though, and it looks like we're against Dragapult, so that's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm not quite sure how the matchup tends to go. I would imagine that if I can pull off an early Radiant Greninja, that's going to be a problem for them. I don't think that it's something that they necessarily want to have to deal with. They are going to grab a Natu here. Looks like we're against Dragapult Xatu. That's so interesting. You're kind of seeing a lot of Dusknoir variants of that deck currently. So we'll go ahead and Pokestop, see what we get. We get a Nest Ball and a Lost Vacuum. I don't necessarily want to hit Comfey's off of Colress, I don't think. Although maybe I do. We'll go ahead and use it. We'll definitely keep one. We'll definitely keep one. We'll definitely keep one. Is that right? I mean, yeah, it seems like the best course of action to me. We're going to need a couple of things to go right here in order to pull this off, but if they do, if those things do go right, we're feeling pretty good about it. So we'll go ahead and Flower Select. We're going to need to use 2 more of these. There's another Nest Ball. I do need Switch, though. I guess I could waste Prime. I don't really want to do that, though. So we'll go ahead and Nest Ball. Grab another Comfey. I have a feeling we're just not going to do it this turn. I think that's the distinct impression that I am getting. We could... I mean, if we get Rescue Board, we could still do it. Boss or Hands. We're definitely going to keep Hands. Yeah, we're going to be just short. We're going to be just short. But that's okay. It's not a huge deal either way. We can go ahead and pass turn over to them. This is a very scary matchup. If they're able to do everything they want, I would say that they're going to be quite problematic for us here. But a little bit of awkward decision-making stuff there. I didn't love that. I wonder if it was just better to go ahead and keep the Nest Ball, but I guess we'll find out. They do get the Xatu. They get TM Evo. There's the Arven. Realistically speaking, we'll be able to get off a Radiant Greninja play on the following turn. So if they do choose to go for the TM Evo and just get a couple of Dracloaks into play, it's going to be pretty easy for us to just knock them both out. So depending on what they choose to do here, I think we're feeling pretty okay. It seems like they're playing a slower pace. Yeah, there's the TM Evo, so they're going to go ahead and evolve into double Dracloak, maybe. Buddy Poffin, yeah, it makes sense. They're going to get a couple more Dreepies. Well, they can't get 2 more Dreepies. They can get 1. Yeah, there it is. So we're going to be able to kill 2 of them. At least the 2 Dracloaks that get put into play, we're going to be able to knock out, which is great. I feel like that puts us in a pretty solid position overall. We'll get the first couple of prizes. I would imagine they play something like Pheasantipity. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I would be pretty surprised if they don't. So we'll go ahead and utilize that Pokestop. See what we get. Another Water Energy to the ditch. Not a huge deal. I think we do want to go ahead and Colress first. I think we want to keep that. The rest of it seems meh. Nothing too crazy. I can go ahead and concealed cards here. I'm going to use flower selecting as well. I think I want to keep the psychic energy. We're at 4, 5, that's 6. So I'm going to go ahead and super rod. We need at least 2 water. I'm going to have to put... I'm going to have to use double gate, which I don't love. But I can at least start getting Iron Hand set up, so it's not a huge deal. We can go like this. Oop. Get the water there and the lightning there, and then I can gate the other 2 energy to the ninja. Psychic water. I've got a switch in hand already. Do I want a Nest Ball? Not really. I can grab another Comfey. I could Nest Ball for Sableye and just attach to it. I don't hate that, to be honest. I think we do go ahead and do it. Sableye is quite good in this matchup as well. We're not going to utilize it just yet, but it feels like if we're getting all of our ducks kind of set up to do things, it's not necessarily bad. We are giving them the opportunity as Dragapult to kind of mess with us before we can maybe fully utilize all of our stuff. Like, we don't necessarily want Sableye on the bench. They put 60 on it, or even like 20, right? Like, they could do something like put 20 on Sableye, put 30 on hands, and then they'll be able to knock both of them out, which isn't great. We would need to use switch cards to play around that. We do have a few left. They're gonna Iono us, which is fine. We're not super pressed about that. We did have 2 Colress in the discard. We probably should have Pal Padded. Yeah, we almost certainly should have Pal Padded, but unfortunately didn't think about it too hard. There's a lot going on with this deck. I think there really is a lot going on with this deck, so hard to keep track of, kind of. They are going to go ahead and Clairvoyant Sense. That makes sense. One of the best reasons to play Xatu in Dragapult specifically is the ability to utilize that Radiant Charizard. So I'm not too surprised to see them going for that strategy. I think our boss is gone. Yeah, we do only have the Prime Catcher now as a way to take extra prizes with the hands if we need to Gust. So we want to be a little bit careful there. They're going to go ahead and Ultra Ball. What's it for? That's the question. I assume they have some kind of rare candy. They're just going to grab Dracloak. I mean, we might be able to just Moonlight Shuriken them for the last couple. Ooh, discarding double Dragapult. That cannot feel good. That cannot feel good. Punished for proper sequencing. They're going to go ahead and concede, so we're going to be able to take that one down. We played against some really interesting matchups for this one, but we were able to get a couple wins. I hope that you all have enjoyed the video. If you like Lost Box, be sure to check out the description down below where I have put Michael's coaching and Twitter links so that you can check him out as well. As always, thank you for watching. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you really, really love it, and if you love me specifically, go ahead and comment down below for me. I really appreciate it. But until next time, I'll see you later.